most interesting guy. He acts like he might be one of the not the smartest guys. I'm not going to say dumb, but not so smart. But he would tell me this, Nelms, if you don't get it done, I'm going to get on you. And he would. But he challenged me, and we still have a relationship, and he was a great man, and he came at a great time, and was a good coach and a good part of my life. Coach Kenny Roberts, who come in after that from Seminole. Coach Roberts gave me the chance and helped me very hard to get my opportunity to go to New Mexico Military and Western New Mexico University. Special guy for me. Coach Al Barnes, everybody remember Big Al? Had more energy than what an amazing man. He now works for an outreach, coaches outreach. He lives in Houston, touches many coaches' lives. Awesome man. Coach Ken Barr, the basketball coach. I couldn't beat him in horse or pig to save my life. I'd cheat and I couldn't beat him. He could still run circles around me, but he was an amazing guy who loved all of us and took care of us all. A great bunch of coaches. Plains, Texas provided me with a great education, with a great bunch of men that are great leaders, and I'll forever in debt for anything that I've learned. I learned from each one of them what it was to be a professional, what it was to challenge young people, and what it was to love. And thank you. You guys that are here, I thank you. The guys that aren't here, I hope God speaks to you tonight. Coach Clem Mancini, who had me at Western New Mexico. I brought this out because it probably reminds him of a little story. We're playing Southern Utah. And if you played in Southern Utah, I want to tell you the first story though. We go eat pregame meal. I don't know if Coach remembers this or not. In Utah, there was lots of kids on our football team that were African American, Hispanic, white. We were a team. We were brothers. We sat to eat our pregame meal, and in Utah, the Mormons, and trust me, I don't have anything, I'm not trying to pick on the Mormon religion, because it's just fine, whatever religion, as long as you believe in God, as far as I'm concerned, if it's asking for me. But they didn't serve black kids. And my roommates, or not my roommates, my teammates were sitting there, and they come over and they put my plate, and they don't put his plate. My roommate, Bill Meehan, and I walked to Coach Mancini and said, I'm not eating this place. They don't serve our teammates. We're leaving. We're walking. He walked us all. Because we realized it's not the color of your skin. It's about being a brother. And you take care of your brother. This band that I still wear that Coach Warren gave me, my brother's keeper. I'll never take it off until I guess they put me in my grave and somebody can come take it, and I hope they wear it with the same respect that I got given to. We are our brother's keeper. I don't care what you do. Coach Mancini's been like a second dad to me, and he still talks to me, even though I played for him. And there was times he probably wanted to kick me right, you know where. But we've remained close, as YFL said. And Tamara, little Miss Texas Tech, if you need to know anything about Texas Tech, she works at Tech, she'll give you the lowdown. And Brian, who is his son, coaches up in Spearman, and they're like a family to me. God planted them in my life when I needed to. Because I was fixing to walk from Western New Mexico because I thought I was done because they had a coaching change. And I'm sitting on the steps, and Coach Mancini will verify this, me and Bill, and we're talking about where we're transferring and what's going to happen. He goes, you two come with me. And he kept on. Not only did he keep me as a player, he let me coach with him 1 year. I got to GA at Western New Mexico 1 year with him. And then he decided that he had enough in New Mexico, moved to God's country, and got over to Texas and coached at Lubbock Roosevelt, Lubbock Coronado, and New Deal, and now is retired living in Lubbock. And he taught me a lot about coaching and respect and family, and I'll forever be grateful. I'm glad. I can't even believe he showed up tonight. I told him it would be the most boring talk he ever heard, so I don't know why he showed up. But they drove from Lubbock. Thank you. Coach McAdams sitting there, I didn't actually get to coach him, have him coach me, or he was fortunate enough not to coach me. But I'd come back in college and watch him work, his tireless hours, and how and he's still doing it. He's retired, he still does it. And they probably will till they tell him you're done. But the admiration I have for you and what you've done for athletes here at Plains is phenomenal. I only wished I had your tireless effort and drive, because you're awesome. And the kids tell me that every year at the state track meet, when I walk on the track and get to hug those boys and girls, and they don't know me from Adam, but they're a Plains cowgirl, cowboy, and that's special to me. If you put the black, white, and gold on, it's in my heart forever. It'll never change. I had the opportunity to play with lots of great guys. I could see them sitting around the room here. Joy Lowe was the guy that I had to back up at quarterback, and I just prayed that he didn't go down, so they put me in. But Mike Blunt, he was the bulldozer. Bean Dip, where's old Bean Dip at, Killer? See him over there?
He's right over there.
You know, Chris Wynn, you know, we always put Bean Dip out. Bill Bearden, Ricky Bearden, those guys are special. And I want my class, if you were a member of my class in 1975, I think was the best class in Plains High School. I want you to stand up right now. If you're from Mike, you live, stand back. Mike and Paul. Look at that. I love this group. They were special. I think there was 35 of us. 36. And it was broken right down the middle in 1818, and every time we had a vote, the girls went one way, the boys went one way, and we argued for 10 minutes, and then it didn't matter anyway. We said, okay, whatever. That's when I knew that group was going to be famous, because they were stubborn. They were good politicians already. You know what I'm saying? The class of 1975, I'll never forget each one of them. You made me better. You challenged me. Our friendships, I'll never forget. We had a lot of fun. We made fun, too. I have to ask for forgiveness for some of you. So much more you can talk to. Joe St. Romain, where's Joe? He probably hates me. Joe and I we grew up and we loved each other very dearly. But we had some good times. We had some great times, and I'll never forget it. The churches, First Baptist Church in Plains, Texas, I'll never forget that. The opportunity, Jim Bozeman, Jim Mosley, Calvin Beach, Glenn Harlan, and the guy that I'll always remember as a little kid, whenever the Plains Cowboys and Cowgirls were playing, Brother Tarkin to come in, here we go, wow. Nobody had more mold than that guy. I'll never forget that those guys were pastors that led this community with all the rights and respects that you should, and I'll be ever grateful for that. The administrators that I was fortunate enough to have, Mr. Harvey, Mr. Nance, who was at junior high, and when I moved to high school, they were real concerned with our class, so they moved him up to high school. He had to double shift with us. And then Mr. Roy Dodds, who I still talk with now. They were tremendous men, tremendous leaders that took care of the kids and cared for the kids and cared for this community. I can remember that we worked in 1975 when I graduated, actually, when they did some remodeling. And true story. I was going to, got to work with this old guy, this construction guy named Rampy, and he's from New York. His language is a little bit to be desired, and he was tough. But I got acquainted with concrete. I fell through a building trying to hammer it, and I've also, if it hadn't been for one of those guys catching me from the belt, I was doing sledgehammer and almost went off that roof over there. So I understand what it is to learn a new livelihood and a new passion. I am so grateful for Plains, Texas. That high school right over there, that school, I am so proud of you. These kids deserve that and more. I challenge, if you're on the school board or a member right now of this community, you ought to put the best athletic facilities that Plains, Texas could have. Put it out there for these kids. They deserve it. Turf that field. Save that water. Get them a new gym. Give them a new weight room. Give them the best facilities, because our kids are our commodities. And Plains, Texas is worth it. And these kids are worth it. Our grandchildren. Those taxes aren't anything. They're going to go away when the good Lord calls us home anyway, right? Spend them for your kids. Spend them for your grandkids. Love them. Teach them right. Bring them up right. But don't ever sell them short. And never think it's too much of a stretch. Challenge them. People that I can remember, and this is going to be a blast, past whatever, Dick McGinney. God, what a man. He loved them Plains Cowboys and Plains Cowgirls. He'd go everywhere, drive a bus. The funniest story I got on him, we were playing